There is a widespread cultural phenomenon today. Modern corporate management deeply loves it. However, they completely misunderstand its roots. It is the employee who never requests an extension. It is the colleague who absorbs massive organizational chaos. They do this without expressing emotional friction. They navigate continuous company restructurings with a blank face. They maintain absolute professional efficiency at all times. To upper management, this looks like elite behavior. It looks like great corporate emotional intelligence. They think it comes from leadership training. But the underlying cognitive architecture is much darker. This presentation of absolute self-reliance is a defense. It is a protective shell designed for survival. It keeps the rest of the world at a safe distance. This behavior is incredibly prevalent among one specific group. It defines the psychological trauma of Generation X. These are individuals born between 1965 and 1980. To understand this group, you must look backward. Look directly at their early childhood environment. They were the very first latchkey kids. This happened on a massive social scale. Dual-income households became the economic standard. Millions of middle-class families made this shift. Millions of 8-year-old children returned home alone. They walked into entirely empty houses after school. There were no immediate parental figures present. There were no mobile networks to connect them. They carried a brass key around their neck. They unlocked the door in complete silence. They assumed total responsibility for their physical safety. When a child manages their own environment consistently, things change. The developing brain undergoes a profound modification. It overwrites the biological expectation of external support. They stop looking for a protector entirely. They realize they are completely alone in the room. This early training builds a rigid operating system. It is based entirely on high contingency. The young brain learns a fast lesson. Every action leads to an immediate outcome. If you lose your key, you stay outside. If you burn your food, you stay hungry. There are no parental interventions to cushion mistakes. These children enter the corporate arena as mature adults. This internal system now operates automatically. They assume dependency is a structural vulnerability. They refuse to delegate tasks to others. This does not happen because they are arrogant. Their nervous system correlates delegation with danger. To their subconscious mind, relying on a colleague feels unsafe. It feels like waiting in an empty house again. They wait for a caregiver who never arrives. They will carry a crushing workload alone until collapse. They refuse to ask another human being for assistance. This radical independence is not just a professional habit. It forces them into a state of permanent isolation. They spend their entire lives defending their boundaries. No one is allowed to see their weakness. Over time, this creates a profound psychological pattern. Clinicians refer to this as a freeze response. Their mind handles stress by turning into ice. They do not fight the corporate structure openly. They do not run away from heavy pressure. Instead, they freeze their true emotions completely. They become highly functional robots in sharp suits. They attend every meeting with absolute composure. They nod and take notes during structural crises. But inside the armor, the human being is absent. They have checked out emotionally for self-preservation. They operate on pure cognitive computing power alone. This strategy keeps them safe from immediate danger. But it carries a staggering emotional price tag. The primary cost of this shield is exhaustion. They must maintain a flawless performance every day. Their brain is constantly calculating potential corporate risks. They analyze the underlying meaning of casual comments. They search for hidden agendas in simple emails. This mental tracking requires massive amounts of energy. By the time they return home, they empty. They have nothing left for their personal lives. Their relationships suffer from this permanent defensive posture. Partners feel an invisible wall in the room. They want genuine intimacy and emotional connection, but the traumatized mind views intimacy as risk. To open up means giving up control. It means trusting someone else with your safety. Their childhood training screams that this is dangerous, so they remain emotionally insulated and distant. They are surrounded by people who love them, yet they remain completely alone in the dark. This brings us to a critical turning point. You cannot maintain this defensive posture forever. The human nervous system has a breaking point. Eventually, the heavy wooden desk offers no comfort. The corner office feels like a prison cell. True recovery requires a radical shift in perspective. You must realize your early war is over. The empty house of your childhood is gone. You are no longer that vulnerable 8-year-old. You possess immense real-world competence and power. You have the right to lower your guard. The corporate arena is just a workplace. It is not a permanent battle for survival. You can survive without controlling every single variable. Your resilience is a part of your spirit. It does not depend on your constant vigilance. You can look at your magnificent armor safely, appreciate how it kept you alive back then gently give yourself permission to step out. Allow your exhausted mind to finally find rest. This hidden suffering requires a specific form of release. The traditional channels of corporate wellness fail them completely. Standard self-help advice tells them to slow down. It demands that they practice mindfulness and take vacations. But these methods do not work for this generation. To an individual conditioned by high contingency, unstructured time feels dangerous. It removes the familiar routines of daily output. The mind suddenly has nothing left to analyze. It then begins to track internal existential threats. This is why true recovery looks very different for them. They do not need to learn how to relax. They need to learn how to feel safe while being unproductive. This shift cannot be achieved through sheer willpower. It requires a systematic retraining of the central nervous system. You must consciously introduce small moments of uncalculated safety. You must practice letting a minor detail drop without panic. The ultimate goal of this psychological work is integration. You do not need to destroy your professional competence. Your advanced pattern recognition is a magnificent asset. Your ability to remain calm in chaos is highly valuable. These traits are not defects to be cured. They are the highly sharp tools of a survivor. The trauma belongs to your history, but it is not your identity. You can hold the key in your hand without fear. You can look at the modern corporate landscape clearly. Recognize it as a temporary playground, not a battlefield. When the urgent emails arrive tomorrow morning, pause, remind your nervous system that you are now safe. You have the power to choose your responses consciously. You no longer have to protect an empty childhood house. The warrior inside your chest has earned the right to stand down. Let the world carry its own weight for once. This channel remains focused on unmasking these hidden realities. We investigate the quiet psychological forces that shape adulthood. We analyze corporate culture, childhood conditioning, and mental health. If this deep breakdown brought clarity to your journey, engage. Please leave a comment below with your personal experience. Share which specific trait described your daily reality most accurately. I read and respond to every single thought. Do not forget to subscribe to our platform today. Turn on notifications for all upcoming deep dives. We will continue to explore the mechanics of the mind. Thank you for your valuable time and presence. I will see you in our next analysis.